Hi everyone, I'm Bob Reed and I worked with Adrian in putting together the resources for the GCSE English Revision workshop that you completed with him. And in this video I'd like to just go back over some of the key points Adrian covered in terms of answering question 1. It's worth 4 marks, so don't be tempted to spend more than 5 minutes on this particular question. The other 4 questions in the exam are worth many more marks, so you need to leave plenty of time to answer those questions. So it's only worth 4 marks, so don't spend more than 5 minutes on this question. Its purpose is to assess whether you can identify and interpret information, and the question will always sound the same, very similar to the one that Adrian used in the workshop. Read again the first part of the source from lines 1 to 6. List 4 things from this part of the source about the farm. So this was the piece of text that you explored in the workshop, and the first thing that Adrian recommended is that you highlight the lines that you need to read in detail, and then you need to look for 4 things in this section about the farm. So look for information about the particular focus, the topic, the character or the setting. In this case it's the farm. So we could see here there's the phrase by the farm, and in these couple of lines we've got different types of information about the farm. There's a sharp corner, the farm's on a hill, it has a hidden gateway, and there are tractors coming in and out. So highlight the section, look for the information, and then you just need to record your answers. Put them in a numbered list. You get 1 mark for each question, for each piece of information. You can use quite short sentences or phrases. You can just use the same wording from the text if that's helpful. You can embed a little quote as well if you want. Adrian suggested that you might want, just to help keep yourself focused on the question, you may want to repeat the, in this case it was the phrase, the farm. So key points about answering question 1. Highlight or underline the key part of the text. Stick to the focus of the question. Short sentences or phrases will do. Each piece of information is worth 1 mark. And don't include information from other parts of the text. At the start of the exam, you will have read all of that source text, of course, so you will have lots of other information in your head, but you'll only get marks for information that's in the target section. Let's have another look at another piece of text. This piece of text is from a short novel by Scott Fitzgerald called The Great Gatsby, and this section gives information about some quite lavish and glamorous parties that Gatsby held in his New York mansion for his guests. And we are asked to read lines 1 to 8 of this source, so we need to highlight it, and then list 4 things from this part of the source about Gatsby and his guests. So there was music from my neighbour's house through the summer nights. In his blue gardens, men and girls came and went like moths among the whisperings and the champagne and the stars. At high tide in the afternoon, I watched his guests diving from the tower of his raft or taking the sun on the hot sand of his beach, whilst his 2 motorboats slit the waters, drawing aquaplanes over cataracts of foam. On weekends, his Rolls-Royce became an omnibus, bearing parties to and from the city between 9 in the morning and long past midnight, whilst his station wagon scampered like a brisk yellow bug to meet all trains. So we need to find some information about Gatsby and his guests. So as we read through this, we can see that we're told that his guests are diving from the tower of a raft, like a little diving raft. The guests are sunbathing on Gatsby's beach. We're told that Gatsby has 2 motorboats, he's got a Rolls-Royce, and he uses them to pick up guests from the station to bring them to his parties. So we can just have a quick look at our 4 answers. We've got information about Gatsby. Gatsby had 2 motorboats, had a Rolls Royce. The guests were sunbathing, and the guests were picked up from the station. So those are our 4 pieces of information that would gain us 4 marks for this first question. So that's question 1, worth 4 marks. Don't take longer than 5 minutes on this very first question.